back to Mike's Diabetes World. Yes, let's take a look at today's blood sugars, just so you can follow along if you like. Current blood sugar is sitting at 9. I have 2.025 blood sugar. It's at 10:56, so almost 11 o'clock in the morning. I've had a couple of corrections, not too bad. During the night, oh, I was pretty stable for most of it until early morning, and then I had a bump, and then it came down. Okay, time in range, 99%. That 1% threw me for a loop today. I would have had a perfect day. This is still cause for celebration. I was within reason, but all in all, pretty good. Average sugar in millimoles is 6.8. That to me makes me feel better. Knowing that my blood sugars are in control really helps out. Today, I want to discuss something that it's under the auspices, if I can say that right, of changes, but it really is life altering. It was kind of thrown upon me and made me end up in this facility. So we're going to talk long-term care and how did I end up in long-term care. So sit back, grab your cup of coffee, and we'll get right on into today's topic. We'll be right back. Okay. I had recently gone through a couple of things. One, my mother had just sort of passed away probably a year before I came in here. I was dealing with the executor over the apartment, and I was being charged rent against my inheritance. Okay. But it was getting closer to the time when we would have to sell the condo. For those of you who don't know, I was living with my mother, helping her along with her dementia diagnosis. And so I sat down and said, okay, but my sister already had a plan for me. I was to move into assisted living. Now, in her idea of assisted living, because her son was in one, they found her son a place in someone's basement. And I didn't feel comfortable with that, knowing my medical um, situation. I had gone through, like I said, with my mom, I had constantly gone through where people were having to call, or I'd have to call for help because my blood sugars were out of whack. Um, I couldn't afford all the necessary medical stuff I needed, and yet I survived. But now the condo was being sold, so I had to find a place to move. So my sister said, "You need to live with someone. You can't be left alone." I think that's just a blanket statement for anyone. So we started looking at assisted living. I I met with my case manager. I guess they call it case manager. And she said, "Okay, well, let's look into assisted living." So I started the paperwork. I think I had to sign an application. And she said, well, look, there's a number of places. You're going to have to rank one, two, or three. Okay? So I did that. Nothing was coming available. They're kind of prize locations that people, once they get, they hold on to, which is understandable. And then one day I received a call saying, "We don't think that assisted living is right for you. You have too many medical conditions. You need to be placed in a long term care facility." I said, "Okay. How do we go about getting into a long term care facility?" "Well, you're going to have to go through and choose ones you like." But it really got down to there were only two that really fit the bariatric patient. One was the one where my mother was, and I kind of was okay with that, and then I wasn't okay with that. It was in Burnaby, it was close to everything I knew. Um, or there was another one, I think in South Surrey. So they said, "Well, we can open it up." And this was sort of like the basic outreach. I was put in here March of 2023. So with 2 days notice, I packed up my life and came in here. Do I need long-term care? Yes. I kind of said, okay. I had one other phone call before this opened up. I guess I had been in a year and a half, waiting for this to open up. I had an interview with an assisted living, which was still in Burnaby, And I knew where this place was because I had passed by it a number of times when I used to go work at a 7-Eleven down the block. So, well, it's a little more down the block, but so I kind of knew the area. It was kind of like, okay. And I kind of would have a two-room suite. We'll call them suites. I don't know what they call it, but we'll call them suites. So, oh, excuse me. Oh, twitch of the eye. There we go. I said, okay. They came out, they did an interview. I had to do a stand test. But I guess I was turned down or my time never came up. I never received a call back. So, okay. Then one day I'm sitting there, my home health care person had left. I was sitting there watching TV, and then a phone call came in. And it said, "Hi, I'm from XYZ Management. We have a bed available for you." And I said, "Okay, where is XYZ?" I'm leaving out the name of the care facility I'm in because of privacy of others, privacy of myself. So XYZ Management is it. And I said, "Where are you?" And they said, "Well, we're out Abbotsford way." Okay, that was going to be quite the move. Getting things all packed up within a day. They wanted me there the next day. I said, "No, I need a little bit of time." So I came in and my not my motor skills like my hands, but my leg and diabetic neuropathy has dwindled to the point where nowadays I need a lot more attention. So yes, long-term care. There would be a facility where people who need long-term care but quite aren't at the age of seniors might be an awesome place. Somewhere where people, I don't know, 40s to 65 can just sort of live and achieve long-term care. I guess it's not really feasible because pretty soon people would just be inundated with seniors who need it. And God forbid, sometimes here dealing with seniors, I pretty well stay in my room. I'm allocated to a bed right now and hopefully gonna get a new chair that I can leave and I can go out into the community, which will be awesome. I have friends who live, I don't know, 4 or 5 blocks up, so I could go and just get out of here and visit. But if I didn't have diabetes, I probably wouldn't have had neuropathy, wouldn't have ended up in here, and probably would still be out there. I did many years of trying to cope with my diabetes. I'm still having problems coping. In fact, there's issues here with my diabetes and the doctor saying, "Oh, you can't control your diabetes because it's just not working here." Well, it's not like me sitting here controlling my diabetes just for the sake of it. I work with a diabetic nurse, I work with an endocrinologist, and the on-staff dietitian. So all together we come up with a plan. But we're working through that. Being in here has helped me by. How has it helped you, Mike? Well, let me tell you. Okay, all right, I know. Sorry. Um, I went through, I was in here in March. In September, I started to have high blood sugars, and I'm talking. My glucometer couldn't read it. This system couldn't read it. I just went into DKA. I finally just kept throwing up all the time. They kept they were using the identifier, oh, you're non-DKA because we can't smell the fruity flavor. Well, I don't always give that off. And when I got to the hospital, I was quite sick to the point where this hospital is a small country type hospital. I had to be shipped to the major hospital with I initially said high acuity unit. I went to intensive care. This place allowed monitoring and shipped me off when it was definitely that I needed help. I could have gone through, I think they let it go one more night than they really should have. But it was okay. I made it through. I felt like crap. But we got through it. They've monitored my lows. They sent me over to the hospital because of lows. So it's nice to have that buffer around. At home, I'd be at home. I'd have home health twice a day come in and check on me. And, they'd make me breakfast and they'd make me dinner. Lunch, I kind of had to try to get up and do myself. A lot of times I just forget about it. Or I'd have them prepare something else and leave by my bedside. It was really weird. But I could get up. I could go to my doctor's if I had to. I could go to the big hospital emergency if I had to. It was all surreal. But in here, you still get medical care. They may not be able to do all medical procedures in here. But if you need the care, you can be sent out. So, being long-term care, while I was kind of iffy about it at first, really has been helpful here. We'll see how long it lasts, though. But it's all pretty good. So, that's my thoughts for the day. It was a big change. The move got me in here, but I'm kind of glad they did. With that, have a great day, and we'll talk again soon. Okay, bye now. My email address is Mike's Diabetes World at gmail.com. All one line. Drop me